Hello, my fellow adventurers in agility. You know how actors diving into a new role, they always ask, what's my motivation? Well, it seems like more and more D&D and TTRPG players are asking the same question when they are creating and playing their characters. I don't think WotC saw this coming when they created their books. Back in the day, the game just assumed your characters wanted to dive into nearby dungeons, kill whatever creatures were inside, sometimes they were dragons, and steal their money and stuff. They basically figured players were like the typical colonizers who needed no more motivation than there's treasure to steal and monsters to slay. But things have changed. Thanks to WotC's own sweeping narratives of heroic fantasy, the actors have joined the party, and with them came that famous question, what's my motivation? How do I roleplay a three-dimensional character, and how do I make each character feel unique? The PHB has these tables for personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws based on your character's background. But let's be honest, do you find them useful, or do you find them bleh? And how often do they really matter in your campaign and how you roleplay? Hey DMs, if you're running something like Rise of Tiamat, how many of you know if a PC would die to recover an ancient relic of their faith that was lost long ago? And how many of you actually weave that into the adventure? Most of the time, the bonds are irrelevant. The personality traits are superficial. Check out Matt Colville's video on one-dimensional characters. And the ideas and flaws can make your PCA caricature if you focus too much on them. Using these tables also doesn't guarantee that your current and your next character will feel different from each other. If you want to roleplay with the capital R, try defining your character by identifying their top motivators with a capital M. Jürgen Apelo identified 10 moving motivators that make up each person. These are the CHAMPFROGS: curiosity, honor, acceptance, mastery, power, freedom, relatedness, order, goal, and status. If you want to get a better understanding of the CHAMPFROGS, let's dive into some fun examples for each one. Curiosity. Think of someone like Sherlock Holmes, who investigates crimes because he loves solving the mystery even more than finding the answer or bringing justice. Or Marie Curie and Galileo Galilei, who paid hefty personal prices in their pursuit of knowledge. And then there's Alice, who followed the white rabbit just to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. Next up is honor. Can't think of anyone better than Mulan. She had her own definition of honor, and it was so different from what others expected of her that it led to her doing a lot of awesome shit. Also think of Ned Stark. He lost his head for honor, quite literally. Or Jean-Luc Picard, whose sense of honor led him to try to save the Romulans even after Starfleet had abandoned them. Moving on to acceptance. You may think it's just about being a people pleaser, like how Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer found acceptance after proving his usefulness. But it could also mean standing up for what's right, like how Rosa Parks did when she refused to give up her seat fighting for acceptance and equality. At number 3, we have mastery. Think of Kobe Bryant with his Mamba mentality. He was obsessed with improving his basketball skills, and he notoriously didn't have time for those who didn't share his work ethic. Next up, unlimited power. Being motivated by power might sound off-putting, like Palpatine or Sauron. But also think of Daenerys Targaryen, at least before the other D&D did her dirty. She wanted power to make the world better and used it to do things like abolish slavery. It's not bad to be motivated by power. It just means you want to have influence. That brings us to freedom. Batman is a perfect example. He was a loner who acted without being constrained by the rules. And even in the Justice League, he made contingency plans for each of the other heroes in case he needed to fight them. Being motivated by freedom doesn't mean you can't work well with others. I don't want any of you to say, I'm motivated by freedom, so screw you all, it's my way or the highway. That's just a-ho behavior. It's me, Mr. Frodo. It's your Sam. Samwise Gamgee went on the quest to destroy the ring because he wanted to help his friend, not because he wanted to save the world. The only time I can remember seeing him angry was when Gollum was driving a wedge between him and Frodo. And that's because their connection is the most important thing to him. Relatedness-driven people like Sam, they prioritize relationships in their decisions. Moving on to order. Don't think of lawful stupid. I mean, that's one way to play it, I guess, but that's very superficial. These are characters who want predictability and stability. Look at Spock. He clung to logic and he criticized Kirk's rule-breaking, even though effective, strategies. Just a couple more to go. Let's now look at goal. Consider Thanos in the Infinity War movie. He had a singular goal: bring balance to the universe by wiping out 50% of all life at random. He's quite extreme, since after the snap he just stopped and was content to live out the rest of his days in that farm of his. Most goal-oriented people would come up with new goals after they accomplish something. And finally, their status. Status-driven people crave recognition and prestige. Think Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Everything he did, from amassing wealth to marrying into the Arryns to become Lord Protector of the Vale, it was all because he needed to be recognized as one of the elite. But it doesn't have to be a bad guy. Evelyn from the Mummy films wanted to prove she was more than a bumbling librarian to big Egyptology, even if it meant unleashing Imhotep upon the world of the living. Now, just because I mentioned someone in relation to a particular motivator, that doesn't mean that's all there is to them. Let's look at how they combine for Spock and Thanos. I think Spock's top motivators are order, curiosity, and acceptance, in that order. Early in his life, especially during his childhood, acceptance was probably number one, and that's why he clung so tightly to the rigid, emotionless logic of the Vulcans. He wanted to be recognized as one of them, rather than an inferior half-human. But later on, especially when he became a top cadet and officer in Starfleet, order took its top spot. Curiosity also played a big role in making him a great science officer, because in science, it's not just about what you know, it's about what you can learn. Now let's look at Thanos. I'd say his top three motivators are goal, order, and power, in that order. Why? I mean, obviously he wanted to bring balance and thus order to the universe, and he sought the power to do it. But look at what happened after the snap. Once he achieved his goal, he became kind of empty. He had no other motivation but to live out the rest of his life on that farm of his. If he were more driven by order or power, why didn't he keep the Infinity Stones or search for them if they vanished into the ether? So, pick three of these and put them in order of importance. These will be your PC's main motivators. The order matters because someone motivated by mastery, power, and curiosity will act differently from someone motivated by curiosity, mastery, and power. Choose three to add depth and internal conflict to your character. Someone with only one or two motivators can easily become cartoonish. Try this on yourself first. Look at how you make your decisions and write down your top three motivators. If you're up for it, rank all 10 from least to most important. Reflect on how these motivators have changed throughout your life and how that influenced your actions. Once you've done that for yourself, apply the same thinking to your character. You'll not only create a more compelling character, but also gain some self-awareness that's useful in both your gaming and professional life. But Jarek, why go through all this trouble? Why should I spend my time doing this instead of learning how to speak with a great Scottish accent? 1. Porque no los dos? But sure, maybe you only have time for one. I say do this if you want to roleplay with a capital R. As Matt Colville said, this comes from playing a character who thinks differently, behaves differently from yourself. Role-playing a three-dimensional character with depth and nuance is not a matter of how you speak. It's about how you think and what you do. Want a real role-playing challenge? Make a character whose top three motivators are your bottom three. Or mix up your own top three for something distinct but familiar. For example, if you're motivated by honor, mastery, and acceptance, Play a character motivated by acceptance, honor, and mastery. It'll be different from you, but you'll know how to handle it. If you're an accomplished actor in possession of a shit ton of dice and you're looking for a reason to roll them, take out 3d10s and see what you get. Notice me, Laura! Ooh, ooh! Once you've got your 3 motivators in order, write them down on your character sheet where you can see them. DMs can use this method to create deeper, more nuanced NPCs too. When something significant happens in your campaign, revisit your motivators and see if they've shifted. That's why they're called moving motivators. Some classes naturally fit certain combinations. For example, a wizard motivated by curiosity, mastery, and status will seek knowledge no matter the cost, will always push to achieve more and more magical feats, and will show off to be recognized as one of the best. A paladin motivated by honor, order, and power will live by a personal code, will uphold the law, and seek the strength to impose their will on the world. But when their values clash with authority, they'll fight the establishment rather than protect it. The real fun comes from unconventional combinations. How would a rogue motivated by order, relatedness, and acceptance behave? What about a cleric motivated by power, freedom, and curiosity? What are your current motivators? What cool class/motivator combinations can you think of? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's build a collection of awesome archetypes for the community. Share this with your actor friends or anyone tired of playing the same character over and over again. Hey, I'm Jarek, a dungeon master with a hobby in agile project management. If you liked what I brought, please like the video. Appreciate it if you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when I drop the next one. Until next time, my fellow adventurers in agility, bye.